Hi guys, Stu here with a new video, and this video is finally some good news about World of Warcraft PvP. We are talking about Dragonflight right now, and we finally have some PvP, I would say, blue posts. It has been 2 weeks in a row, I think, which is a good thing. I hope they continue on addressing issues, addressing positive things as well. We don't always need to talk about the negatives, but here we have the PvP rating adjustments. So we all knew there were problems for MMR, for 3s, 2s, solo shuffle, and they're addressing right now. I'm going to give you my opinion behind it. So we've been monitoring player feedback on rating PvP. I think we are quite loud about it, so obviously you're going to know that. We'll make some significant adjustments to inflation, beginning with a hotfix that is going to going live as soon as possible. So I don't know when is as soon as possible. I guess it's Wednesday or Tuesday for you from NA in the US, to help alleviate concerns. Going into Dragonflight Season 3, we took preemptive measures with the goal of making a player's PvP rating and progression feel as they would expect relative to previous seasons. The issue with previous seasons is they were all failing. Season 3, Season 4 from Shadowlands, but also Season 1 Dragonflight was actually alright, but in 3s and 2s it was not alright, it was only alright for solo shuffle. And also Season 2 was a catastrophe for MMR, so I don't know why they went for that approach, especially since they knew the backlash it was in Season 2, nobody was happy about it. But anyways, the rating system calculations and rating gains throughout the season can be difficult to predict. That I can give to you. I think it's very difficult because it's also based on popularity and participation. They're impacted by various factors, including player activity. Like I said, player activity is a big factor, and since they expect maybe to have more players on Season 2, I guess they got it backfired, I guess. We need to be cautious about making changes to MMR rating to be ensure that we are not creating unwanted effects or trends that do more harm than good to the ladder overall, which is a bit disingenuous because all the changes that they made was harmful towards the ladder and towards the player base, in my opinion. MMR rating and associated rewards are topics that the team monitors and discusses frequently and will continue to do so in future seasons, which is a good thing. And hopefully they take the approach where, look, not everything is perfect, so we have to work about it and we have to change a few things to get it better, I guess. Suggestions that are offered here are generally in alignment with our interest discussions, which means that we are on the right path, and hopefully we do get some changes about what we might do in future seasons. So that's a good thing. So it means that they are going to change for Season 4 probably, or War Within, which is, I think they're going to do that for War Within. For clarity, there is no cap to MMR, but the highest rating is a result of the combination of population trends and lack of inflation. So I do believe that. I think the population is just not good, but also there is no inflation, so it means that if you're winning at higher MMR and you only gain 5, it's not that there is a cap, it just is you're winning only 5 CR and you're losing 20 every time you're going to lose. So it's not productive because no one has 100% win rate. If you have 100% win rate and you're not climbing, at that point there is a cap. But nobody is like 100% win rate. So even if you're 85% win rate and you lose that 15%, it's going to lose more than what you would gain from 85% win rate. So that's the issue. So now they're going to inflate a bit, I guess, with those significant adjustments. So hopefully we do see a trend upwards for every single bracket and every single rating requirement. So again, I've been playing a lot of 3s, and I think the issue is a lot of people are hovering around a 1600, 1800, 2k, which they should not be hovering at that rating if they are like, I would say 2400, like I would say gameplay wise, skill level. And the issue is if everyone is facing around 1600 and they are both on the same level, obviously you're not going to climb because they're going to think, look, 2400 to 1600 is the new 2400, right? If you're facing on the same level, if you put Barcelona, Real Madrid, all the best teams in the world in Division 2, it doesn't matter that it's Division 2. It just matters who is inside of Division 2. That's a football reference. If you're from the US, it is soccer. If you put every single best team into one singular Division 2 I would say ladder, it doesn't mean that it's Division 2 that it's bad. It just means that everyone that is playing at Division 2 is highly competitive. So obviously they're going to eat on their progress from each other, and obviously they're not going to climb as well as they should. So with the inflation, they're going to be pushed back to Division 1, which I'm going to say that more people are going to reach 2k, more people are going to reach 2.1k, more people are going to reach 2.4k, but they're going to reach a higher standard where they're going to face each other at that bracket, and that will be the new normal. So that is my take on the PvP rating adjustments. That's a good change. Let's talk about the class changes really quickly. I've been reading a bit. There is, again, a few changes, but I'm not going to say that it's going to be groundbreaking. Let's be honest. There's like one change that's going to be quite good, which is the PvP changes I'm going to talk about. So Demon Hunter, Sigil Flame damage reduced by 10%. Collective Anguish talent damage from Summoned Fell Devastation reduced by 10%. So that is from the class tree, I think, on the left bottom side. Whenever you're going to do an I-beam, you get like Fell Devastation from another Demon Hunter, I think, if I'm not mistaken. Ragefire talent damage restored from Immolation Aura critical strikes reduced to 30%, so it's a nerf as well. I don't know if you're playing with Ragefire, but I'm not sure about that. A Fire Inside chance to reset Immolation reduced to 25%, so that's also a big 5% nerf. I don't think it's like groundbreaking. The Sigil of Flame does a lot of damage, by the way, so that's going to be hitting on the consistent damage part. Devastation got no PvP changes. Preservation got a quality of life change with the first 5 allies passes through instead of 3 for the resonating spheres. I don't know if they're taking it for PvP though. Again, I'm not playing Evoker, so I can't know. Arcane, Fire, and Frost got all PvE changes, which I think a lot of people are going to be mad because in Mythic Plus, Frost and Fire actually are doing very well. Monk. You get a few changes that are actually very big. Windwalker get a buff on Blackout Kick. They're already hitting for so much because of the 4 set, I mean the 2 set. Spinning Crane Kick damage increased by 20%, and they're going to buff Dance of Chi-Ji, which is the proc for Spinning Crane Kick, by 100%. So my take is they're going to maybe change it and be able to play around that build. Blackout Reinforcement also gets a buff, which is the Blackout Kick proc that you get, so it gets 50% increased damage. And Glory of the Dawn, I don't know what it is, I don't know if it's a big change, but you will say that to me. But basically, Blackout Kick got a huge buff, which already does a lot of damage because of the 2 set. And also Dance of Chi-Ji and Spinning Crane Kick, which I think they're not playing right now, but with that kind of buff, I think that could actually bring back to the Shadowlands days where you actually wanted the Dance of Chi-Ji proc to do insane amount of damage. So this is going to be very interesting. I would say even very interesting. I think it's going to be insane PvP. I'm looking forward to see it. Again, Windwalker, I think it's a exciting class to see and play. As long as they keep on dying, I would say, if you're focusing them. If they're immortal and they're doing that kind of damage, that becomes a very much of a problem. It becomes like a subtlety rogue. Although subtlety is more of a burst-oriented class. But whatever. Mistweaver got a PvE buff, nerf, probably nerf, I see reduced, but it's a PvE nerf. Retribution got a 3% buff for ability damage. Unfortunately, nothing about healing. But you get kind of nerfed overall because of the trinket changes, but I'm going to talk about it a bit further into the video. But this is going to help Retribution Paladin, but it's going to compensate the nerf that you're going to get as a DPS. Shadow got a buff on Psychic Link, so if it will, like direct damage that inflicts damage will give 25% of their damage on all other targets inflicted by Vampiric Touch instead of 15%, which is going to be good cleave, but again, I don't think they need that much of that as a Shadow Priest. I think they need other things to help them actually cast, but that's my opinion, of course. Holy Priest got a buff, but for PvE. Assassination Rogue got a buff, but for nerf, but for PvE. Elemental Shaman got a buff on Earthquake, but that's irrelevant in PvP, in my opinion. Enhancement Shaman got a survivability buff for PvE and PvP. So instead of like 2 to 4% magic reduction, it will be to 3 to 6%. So that will help a bit but even I am not really playing too much with elemental warding because I need all the talent points I need to actually make it work. But I'll be considering it more now, I think, because it's really a 6% wall at all times. So especially versus casters, which are very prominent in P3s, by the way. So I think that's going to be quite interesting to play around. Restoration Shaman got a buff, I think, in PvE, but that's all. Only for PvE. Affliction Warlock got a buff on the cleave part for Soul Rod, but this is again a PvE kind of thing because you only have 3v3 and maybe some pets, but that's it. And Dark Harvest got a buff, but they get directly nerfed again for PvP. I'm going to show you as well. Seed of Corruption, irrelevant for PvP. Destruction Warlock got a buff on Cataclysm. I wish it was easier to take, but unfortunately it is not. But I wish they actually changed the emplacement from Cataclysm to be a bit higher on the tree, but whatever. 25% is actually quite big. Immolate got a buff on 10% for Immolate, which is again a big thing because Immolate, whenever I'm playing Destruction Warlock, it is one of the most damaging abilities on my details. It's like top 2, top 3, often top 2 because I do Immolate everyone. It has a lot of benefits and does a lot of damage. Immolation damage from Infernal and Blasphemy increased by 24%. So maybe there is a chance for an Infernal build. I'll be testing it, but I don't think so. I think it's too CD heavy for PvP. Now the biggest change for PvP. Gladiator's Distinction, which is the trinket set bonus for DPS and tanks. You only get 12% increased primary stat instead of 20%. So you're going to do normally, I don't think it works like this, but it will be 8% less damage overall. But it doesn't work like this because it's primary stat, and as you know, mastery is also a big thing. But it will be reducing your damage. So it's going to be interesting how it goes. I think it helps healers as well to heal. It's not going to make a dampening meta. I think in 3s it's already very dampening sometimes, but I think for Soul Shuffle they kind of need that, so I think it's a good nerf. Again, I'm a DPSer, so I'm not that mad about it. I think we will adapt it like always. Instead of like giving more HP, they give a nerf on DPS, on damage, so I think it's probably better overall. It's more like effective HP. Balanced Druid got a buff on the backlash from Stealth Flag, which is a good thing. Regrowth is no longer reduced in PvP combat, which is a great thing. Now start to do that as well for Retribution. Paladin, please. I was about to talk Dutch. But this is going to give you 60k regrowths. It's still too little, but I think they need a PvP talent to actually make them really heal well, maybe. But with this, it's not enough, unfortunately. MM Hunters got a buff on damage. It compensates a bit the trinket bonus, but it's still more than what you think. It's 15% more damage on aim shot. It already crits for 200k sometimes, so it's a good thing, I guess, for them. And 10% more damage on rapid fire, which again, with the foresight, you can actually like destroy someone. It's going to be noticeable, but again, with the nerf here, it can just be also felt like a compensation, kinda. Holy Paladins got a nerf on mana regen again, so they got buffed and now they get nerfed again. 10%. So is it going to be feeling like you're going to go or not? Again, you have Divine Plea, and Divine Plea can help you with regening mana, but this is going to be, I think it's going to be noticeable. And Enhancement Shaman got a buff towards their healing. Again, I'm happy. I'm an Enhancement Shaman. But buff Retribution Paladin healing, please. I mean, they're the only hybrid without any buffs. Again, I have a lot of Retribution Paladin friends in the comments, as a viewer, but also as a subscriber. So again, let me know what you think about all those changes that you are not going to get. I'm very, very disappointed for you guys. I mean, I would like to have you guys off heal me a bit more, but I understand that healing for 10k is not enough. So again, hopefully you get a buff. Again, I'm exaggerating a bit, but you're healing really, really low, so hopefully you get a buff in the future. 5% instead of 12% reduced, so that's actually it doesn't work like this, but it's a 17% buff. It doesn't work like this, I know it's not like correct math, but it's obviously a good buff. It's a good buff. Control of Lava The backlash is going to be increased for Enhancement Shaman, and I think also for Elemental Shaman, it's a good thing. So again, if they're like chain, the dispelling, they're going to hurt. Also, Enhancement Shaman, currently I'm playing a Lava Lash build, so it helps me a ton. Elemental Shaman, right now, Searing Flames now has a 40% chance to generate Maelstrom in PvP combat, was 100%. Wow, what a nerf, man. This is you're not going to take that anymore. This is not going to be taken anymore. This is not going to be taken anymore. I'm not taking it anymore. It's useless now. It should, like, if it's not guaranteed, it's useless, especially since the amount is not that big. Rolling Magma is now 60% effective in PvP combat. Damn, man, that's a lot of nerfs. I need to test what is actually changing, like, but that's a deserved nerf. I think Elemental Shaman is very, very sleeper right now, and people are like sleeping on it. It's very, very strong. It's strong. I play Elemental Shaman as well, so again, it hurts, but I understand why. It's really unstoppable. Like you're not casting, so any damage you're doing, if you're like the target or not, it doesn't actually change too much. Obviously, if you're playing like DKDH against you, it's not that fun because again they have a lot of mitigation. But except that, I think you're doing very well. Control of lava, flame shock, backlash damage increased by 8%, also quite nice. Restoration Shaman change, which is useless again. 90k HP is going to get 30% increase, which is again from a one shot to another one shot, pretty much. So it's not that good. A Healing Tide Totem, whenever you're playing like lobbies where people know what's up, they destroy it in a blink. Or people are kiting the Healing Tide Totem, which is the worst. So yeah, again, they need more. I think they're quite good, but I think in Soul Shuffle they are terrible, man. Right now, Subtlety Rogue, they got a nerf on the 2 set. I don't think it's that big. Eviscerate is like a slap on the wrist, pretty much 7.5%. It's already doing a lot of damage, but I think every single little nerf that we get for Subtlety is actually welcome. So hopefully they're not destroying the spec. Don't destroy the spec, but I think nerfing the survivability would be coming a long way, in my opinion. Right now, it feels like you're playing Fire Mage from Shadowlands, pretty much. You're not dying. Affliction Warlock, a stable affliction backlash damage increased by 8%. Good luck with dispelling. It's actually already hitting for a lot. Dark Harvest is now 75% effective in PvP combat. I think Dark Harvest is the soul rot buff. So if you're going to do soul rot, you're getting a crit and a haste buff. So this is going to effectively give you back the 2.5% instead of 4%. So it's not going to change too much. So this is the only change basically for PvP. Destruction Warlock, Chaos Bolt is now increased by 70% instead of 75%, so it's a 5% nerf. Shadowburn as well by 5%, and Flashpoint is now effective by 50% in PvP combat. Flashpoint is the, if I'm not mistaken, the haste procs you get from immolating people that are above 70% HP, and I mean 80%, I think 80%, and every time you're going to get a tick from the immolate above 80%, you're getting a haste proc. It stacks 3 times. You had like I think 12% haste, now it's going to be 6% haste increased. It's just going to make you build more haste instead of going for a bit mastery, but effectively Destruction Warlock is still going to be very strong, so don't really worry too much about it. Overall, no changes on Demonology Warlock. No changes for BM Hunter. I'm playing BM Hunter, guys. No changes for them. Okay. Overall, I think you kind of need a change for Retribution Paladin, but they didn't do that. Kind of need a change for Frost Decay, but they didn't do that as well. It's very difficult. I think a lot of specs actually need a rework. Retribution Paladin don't need a rework, but they need a swap on their defensives. I think. Again, self-medication is cool, but I think what's cool about Retribution Paladin is being able to do wogs and flash of lights that are going to be meaningful towards your allies. Right now, essentially, if you're doing a wog, you're losing DPS and you're losing HPS. Like, it's not that good. But anyways, let me know what you think about these changes. Hopefully you like them. The MMR changes, very cool, and the balancing changes, I think it's a right step in the right direction. But again, they need to do a bit more, but it's like pre-Christmas, so I don't think they're going to do any changes until January now. But it's a good thing they changed before the holidays, because for the holidays itself they're not going to change anything, so hopefully they're going to do that. Anyways, please be sure to subscribe to the channel if you love PvP content. Be sure to again, enjoy your time in World of Warcraft. I know MMR is a bit like frustrating, but the most important thing is you're having fun, you're progressing, and if you're like alting, please play specs that you're going to like. Try specs out, watch PvP guides from maybe me or my friends or colleagues or other YouTubers that are going to provide also the information to you guys, and hopefully you can progress and get your goals at the end of the season. But with this, like PvP rating adjustments, hopefully a lot of things are going to be fixed, and you're going to have a great time in PvP. Have a great day.